Greetings, y'all. Welcome back to the garden, or should I say homestead. Today I'm at my little homestead site, which I've featured in another video. I'll put a link to it up here in the corner before. And last time I was here, I was able to get some good work done and get some trees chopped up that were knocked down during a hurricane. But this trip I need to do a little bit more just kind of maintenance. I've got some permaculture plants I need to put in the ground. I've got some burning of some old debris I need to do on a nice kind of moist rainy day we've got today. And I also need to move some of those logs that I cut up last time and use them to kind of line the driveway and this cul-de-sac that I was able to kind of cut out of the jungle last time. So let's take a little quick tour of the property, see what we got in store, and then we'll get cracking. We'll get our plants in the ground, we'll do a little bit of brush burning, and then we'll try to get those logs that we chopped up into place so we'll have a little bit of something resembling a driveway or a cul-de-sac by the time everything is done. All right, let's go take a look. Alright, y'all, and here we are coming into the property, and it's just a little 1 acre lot. It's just a perfectly rectangular lot here in north central Florida. And you can see where I've done some work previously over the last few years chopping all these things down. Believe it or not, they were sky high before, but all these little small shrubs or trees that were cut back over the last year or so and are now starting to come back. But at least we've got a little bit of a mid-story that's open between the bottom of the floor and the very tippy top of these longleaf pines. Got a little bit more clearing done over here as well, including trimming up some oak trees that were damaged during a storm. That's now letting more light in. But as you can see, it's still real jungly. You can't let this stuff go for too long down here in Florida, or the jungle will just eat it all right back up. I've got another nice little kind of clear spot over here where there's a little bit of dip of the land, and I've been able to get in here and clear things out. But you can see there's lots of debris left over that needs to be burned. There's still some old damaged trees. The jungle's trying to work its way back. Over here, I've got those permaculture plants I was talking about. Nothing fancy. We got all your sort of classics. We've got some, what do we have here? We've got mulberry right here. We've got mulberry, a few different types of ginger. This is a little baby Meyer lemon tree, some more mulberry. This is an angel trumpet tree, another angel trumpet tree, a pineapple. We've got right here a papaya plant. We've got some ferns, some moringa, another moringa, and another papaya, and some Mexican sunflower. So we've got all the classic sort of permaculture plants you might have in a sort of a Florida food forest kind of thing. Mulberry, ginger, papaya, citrus, all that kind of good stuff. So they're just going to kind of go in the ground here today. I'll water them in. They're going to have to kind of take care of themselves because I'm not able to get out here, too often. But they're nice and large and healthy, and I think they'll be okay. And now that we're in the rainy season, they should be okay in terms of water. So we'll get those in the ground as our little sort of mini nursery, you might say. And as we come up here, you can kind of see where there's a path cut, and the car is going around this way, and it's able to loop around the back and come back out and then get off the lot. But there's still lots of little debris that needs to be cleaned up, burned. You can see where in the last video I came through and chopped up all these logs, right? So I've got dozens of sort of 6 foot to 8 foot long chunks of longleaf pine that I need to roll around to try to line this cul-de-sac that I cut through last time. And here's my burn spot. And it's been raining for weeks, and it was raining like crazy on the way over, and you might even hear some thunder right now. So you can kind of see where my burn pile is here, and I'll clear it off very well. It's all raw sand underneath it, and I've got my water here ready to go as well. And plenty of room above me, right? I have a nice chimney. I'm not going to catch anything on fire above me, right? And I'm just going to keep this as a small fire, slowly feed it while I go around and do other little chores on the property. Nothing big. And slowly but surely, we'll just kind of eat it up, and the rain will be here to kind of help keep me on task. So that's the plan for now. We're going to try to do a little burning, do a little planting, and do a little rearranging of our logs here to get some structure for our driveway. But we're racing the rain and we're racing the weather, so we'll see what we can do. We'll try to get done as much as we can. All right, let's go. And here's the little semi-permanent nursery patch I got here. As you can see, I just sort of pulled back the pine straw, exposed the soil such as it is. It's basically just glorified sand. And I've got all my little permaculture plants ready to go. They're going to be on their own for the most part. I'm going to put them in the ground, water them in real well, and then they'll be on their own. So this will be a good little experiment in some low-input guerrilla permaculture gardening here in North Florida. We've got all the classics in the nursery here. We'll put them in the ground, and then we'll let them be, and we'll see how they do on their own. It'll be a fun little experiment. All right, here's the burn pile ready to go. It's real small right now. I just kind of raked up all the twigs and the pine needles on the perimeter towards the center, but just a tiny little splash of gas on there just because it's been raining so much. I'll let this burn down and then I'll just slowly start feeding in limbs after that. I'm not going to let it get real big and huge and mega bonfire like you saw in the previous Homestead vid. I'll put a link in the corner. But we'll just kind of let it go small and slowly feed it. There's plenty of put in here, you can see. And I'll just kind of work my way around from this fire pit area, feeding in all the small bits, moving all the big bits. So I'll get this thing going. I can't do it while I'm holding the camera. And then we'll get a shot of it flaming, and then we'll just slowly but surely feed it. Alrighty, we got it going now, and we'll just slowly but surely start feeding it all these little twigs, pine needles, everything in the immediate vicinity around the fire pit itself. That'll just make it more safe and clean it up, and then we'll just slowly work our way out and grab more and more debris and slowly feed it down into the fire here. Like I said, it's been raining for days, so it's actually kind of wet, so I might actually need to tend to it and keep it going. But with any luck, this first round will get up and running. That'll get nice and hot and be enough to keep everything else dry and burning as we need it. Awesome. Alrighty, y'all, it took me a while, but I finally got the fire going there, and it's just kind of smoldering away, and I'll slowly feed it. But I wanted to show you that I did have some precautions I'm taking while I'm burning. I got a big floppy hat that I've soaked well with water. I've got glasses. My shirt is wet. I'm also wearing, maybe you can't see it, but some big thick rubber boots that I've also poured a little water down into. That way if an ember gets in the boot, you're not doing the hot cha-cha dance there, right? Same thing with the wet hat. That way if an ember falls on top, it won't get in your hair and burn anything. And I've got a little halo all around the fire. And that way, anytime any embers, debris, or anything gets outside of that main fire spot, I just feed it right back into the center. Just imagine a fire's like a drain, and you want the water, the wood, the flame to go down the drain. So just always feed the center. Keep yourself wet, that way if any embers fly around you don't get it. Cover your eyes, get you some good gloves, and you'll be fine. And especially make sure above, heat travels upwards, right? You don't want to catch anything up above you on fire. So just make sure that anything above you is nice and clear too. Awesome. All right. Here's the last of the bonfire here. I never let it get much bigger than this. I just kind of kept feeding logs into it. But as you can see, I've got a nice clear area around it. I was able to put down some logs as a bit of a fire break. And from here on out, I'm just going to feed everything towards the center of the fire and let those embers just kind of burn down. And when the big logs are done, I'll take my metal rake, sort of spread this out into one thin layer, let it cook off the last bit of heat, and it should then cool off much more quickly than if we leave it in a pile with some sneaky, hiding, smoldering embers. So we'll let this burn down, spread it out, release its energy, and you may be able to hear it, but it's thundering like crazy. So hopefully some rain will come along and put it out. But I just wanted to give you a little shot of the size of the fire I was dealing with. This way it was manageable, and if push came to shove, I could put it out with the water I had. Here's a shot of the fire pit. As you can see, everything is black. There's nothing white, gray, smoking, or smoldering. So that's a good sign that, all the active fire is out. Plus, we just got a little rainstorm, so that kind of helped me out and put everything out. And I've got everything raked up around the perimeter, and this is really just all wet sand underneath here, so it's pretty ideal for burning. And of course I put these logs around it as a bit of a fire break. But this is how you know a fire is completely out. There's no white charcoal left over, there's nothing smoldering, there's nothing smoking. It's just kind of a nice wet black look. Just looks like unburnt charcoal. Alrighty, y'all, it's starting to sprinkle, and I've gotten most of the chores done for the day that I want to get done. Let's take a little tour of the things that we actually got accomplished today. I've got my little temporary permaculture nursery going here. I got all my little plants in the ground. It's going to start raining here soon, so that'll take care of them. I might give them a little water also before I leave. This little section I wasn't able to do much with today, but it's in decent shape. It just kind of needs a good brush hog, and it'll be all right. Still a bunch of dead limbs and brush, but I was able to get tons of it burned. I know it may not seem like it, but all of this was just covered with brush to get burned, and that's now all clear. And as you can see, I'm walking through my little sort of roughshod cul-de-sac I got here that I made last time. There's the fire burning down over there, starting to smolder away. Got my little loop here. I've just been driving over it time and time again with the car to try to kind of get a little bit of a trail established. You can see all this still needs to get burned. All that stuff needs to get burned. But you can see there's the vague outline of a kind of a path starting to form in here. So that's good. I still need to get back up in there and clear things out. And this big old tree needs some help. But at least I can get onto the property, do a loop, and get back out again. I wasn't able to get a whole lot of these logs lined up where I wanted, but I got some over here. These things are just insanely heavy. This is not like regular pine. This is old growth, longleaf pine. And you can see from the rings just how old it is, and it is as heavy as steel. You wouldn't believe it. So I was a little beat trying to get that done, but at least we've got something resembling a driveway coming in and out. Can now access the, all the four corners of the property. We got some plants in the ground. We got some bush burning, about to finish up. And that was a good day here on the old homestead. So I'm gonna get cleaned up, let that fire burn down, make sure it's completely out 100%, get cleaned up, head back to the house. Thank y'all for joining me this week, and I'll see you next time. Cheers and chews.